Yeah, it is. Obviously, we'd like to continue that momentum that we've generated through the first 3 or 4 weeks into the regular season. But, you know, any time you get a chance to win a trophy, I think you should try and grab it. I know West Coast would be the same. You know, we're here. We'd like to win it. Then that would be a perfect way to round off a good summer for us.
So are you trying to grab it, John?
Well, we're not here to muck around. Yeah, we've brought a team over that we expect the players to go out and play at their absolute best. We want to see areas that we've been working on, how they're coming along, challenge ourselves to find other areas that we still know we need to improve on. And also, there's a lot of players that are fighting to say they want to be in the team in round one.
Brenton, as a measuring stick, how much does this one go up from all the other 4 games you play?
Oh, we have to keep it in perspective too. You know, it's really easy to become, I guess, wrapped up in the promotion of the game, and you know, we're expecting a really big crowd tomorrow night too. You know, a lot of South Australians will be here cheering us on. So we obviously owe it to our fans and our supporters to play well. But at the same time, it's really important that we play well, that we tinker with our game plan fundamentals in preparation for a really good start to the season. But we'll be coming tomorrow night with a really strong frame of mind that we want to play well.
But what are you going to face? We know the first 2 games were just so short, you didn't get a real idea.
Yep.
Brisbane was very raw, and even you were.
Yep.
Collingwood sort of just gave up in the second half, so to speak. So the final West Coast, what's the difference in terms of measuring up what Adelaide is finally all about?
Yeah, it's a good point, because we do obviously respect West Coast a great deal. They're certainly more advanced than us when you look at games played and experience. They've been playing a certain way, a certain system for a few more years than us. So it is a good measuring stick for us. We know that they're in form. Similar to us, they've only probably got 2 of their best 22 out of the side. We're obviously the same. So it's going to be a hot game. You know, it's going to be 2 sides who are looking to play well and take good form into the start of the season.
Brenton, has that created an issue for you as coach early on for the first time in a long time? Not many injuries at all at Adelaide. How difficult has that been to manage and will be for round one?
Oh, part of it's good management, but part of it's just good luck too. You know, we feel like we've had a really good summer and we've prepared our players exactly how we wanted them to physically. We've been fortunate to have a full squad to pick from most weeks, and that's similar this week as well. But it just means that, unfortunately, some players who are in really good touch and in really good form are going to miss out in a pretty important game. So that's the disappointment of football. Sometimes you miss out. Sometimes when you think you should play, but hopefully those guys go back, play well in the SANFL and push for senior selection next week.
John, have you seen enough of Adelaide to make you think there's a whole new issue about Adelaide now you approach them?
I haven't seen a great deal of them, but looking at their lineup and what we saw last week, really impressed with the way their players are developing and coming along. I think it looks like a fairly clear pathway that they've developed, and from all accounts, I would expect that they're well and truly underway now to building to what they want to get to.
Are they more challenging in terms of how you would assess them?
Oh, teams are always challenging, you know, regardless of their circumstances. But Adelaide are one of the clubs in the competition that we've always admired in terms of their professionalism and their on-field attitude. So they've had only a minor blip in the last couple of seasons, but we expect them to rebound very quickly.
I think Scott Waters came out yesterday, guys, and said that coaches before NAB Cup games sometimes call each other and let each other know what's going on when they might be on younger players. Have you guys done that? Called each other and said, hey, this is what we're going to do?
We're not at that level yet, our relationship. Not quite. But, it does happen occasionally. And it's not about taking the game any less seriously, but one of the big things is there are times in the NAB Cup throughout the 4 weeks where your planning is in a different area to your opposition, where you might be playing your younger team and they're playing a very senior team, and that's not going to be that good for either team. So just getting an idea of what you're thinking helps your planning and make sure you actually do get a lot of value out of the games.
Does the player group decide this is the game where you make a statement, particularly about when you have those big games, finals, and how you perform in those?
Well, look, for us as a group at the moment and over the pre-season, we've certainly recognised we've underperformed in the last couple of years in particular, and for us this pre-season has been about working hard to try and get ourselves back to where we think we should be as a footy club and what we should stand for. And so far this pre-season, working closely with Sando, the boys have done a fantastic job in the performances that they've been putting forward, and tomorrow night's going to be another great challenge for our playing group. And we really want to develop a winning culture here at the footy club, so that's going to be important that we put forward a good performance tomorrow night.
So there is a real essence, everyone talks down the NAB Cup and its consequences, but there's a real sense that you have to win it or want to win it.
Yeah, look, prior to the first game of the NAB Cup, we weren't setting out to win the NAB Cup, but we put ourselves in a position now with some good performances and results that we're in the NAB Cup final. So, as would be expected, we want to go out to win the game.
Obviously, it is only following from Richie. It is only a pre-season cup, but a lot of players haven't played in a grand final for Adelaide and you yourself. How significant would it be to have a pre-season game, albeit a NAB Cup one?
Yeah, look, I think it's a great experience for a young playing group that we've got at the moment. A lot of the group haven't even played finals football, so just to be, I suppose, in a big game. I mean, minor round games, the season proper are even bigger themselves. But we've had a number of guys who haven't even played senior footy yet, so to be exposed to a NAB Cup grand final and to play in a game where there is some silverware on offer, it's going to be a great challenge for us, and certainly be looking to win the game tomorrow night.
Brenton, you've obviously got one eye on round one as well. How many spots have you locked in your mind for round one, and how many perhaps might still be up for grabs tomorrow?
Yeah, it's an impossible question. I mean, if you look to pick your best 22 2 months ago, it'll be very different to how the team's going to run out in 2 weeks' time against Gold Coast in round one. Constantly, the makeup and chemistry of the side is changing. A lot of it's form, some of it's injury, but at the same time, that's what the NAB Cup is for, is to tinker with your game plan, ensure you're well prepared for the start of the season, but mostly to experiment with players in some different roles and just see what works. And we feel like we're almost there. We've still got a lot of improvement to go, and we still feel like there's a long way to go. But yeah, we're confident that we're in a position that we hope we would be in.
Brenton, what does this game do when you get Dean Cox, Nick Nanavui, for that puzzle of yours, who's your second rate to Jacobs?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously two outstanding players. You know, Cox and Natanui are something that you have to prepare for. We feel like we've got a plan in place. We can ruck Jacobs, we can ruck Tippett, we can ruck McKernan. So we feel like we've got some cover. But at the same time, while all the talk's been about those two boys, we feel like our boys are going okay as well. So yeah, we'll obviously look at that contest with great interest, and I'm sure that's where the game's going to be won and lost a little bit, is those stoppage contests. So it'll be fantastic to see how it plays out.
Is Cox going to play?
Yeah.
So what are you planning with him? He's obviously had a pretty big pre-season. I wouldn't imagine he'd be having him go to work tomorrow night.
No, probably not. Yeah, we always say, well, I get told he's had a big pre-season. I don't think it's that big. You know, he rested for a quarter last week. He only played 35 minutes of footy in the first week as well. So, yeah, our plan is that we want he and Nick to do a fair bit of ruck work together. They're going to play together all season. They haven't had much time on the park together, so he'll definitely play.
And obviously there's a spot there with Daffy going down, that you've given those boys a fair chance over the pre-season to put their hand up in that sort of position.
Yeah, they've all been pretty impressive. You know, even with Leclerc, Kennedy and Lynch out of the side last week, I thought Darling really carried a good load for us as a young player. We were really pleased. Coxie was obviously marking him up forward. And the other young boys in Hams, Hill, Whedon have all been very good.
So how much weight tomorrow night on that?
A fair bit, yeah. Fair bit.
Nathan, do you worry about there was talk about the formats and what you're doing, but in your experience, you mentioned 05, finished as runner-up in the competition, went on to perform well during the season. In your experience then, is this format a better lead-in for you and a better indication of what you're going to be like in the season than perhaps we've had in the past?
The format as in having it fixtured as against knockout comp.
Yeah.
I certainly like the fixture side of it. So you can plan a little bit about where you're travelling, when you're travelling, your opponents and those sort of things well in advance, rather than playing the first week and not being sure what day you're playing the following week, where you're playing. So it has helped with preparation, there's no doubt about that. But in essence, it's still 4 weeks of pretty intense football hit-outs, which is good value for us.
Brenton, when you consider where the two sides finished last year, first-year coach versus premiership coach, and even, I guess, re-engaging the fans, which is probably more of an issue here than it is in Perth, has Adelaide got more to prove than West Coast does?
I don't think so. I think both sides obviously have one eye on tomorrow night, but obviously one eye on preparing, not just for round one. We sometimes get a bit seduced with round one like it's the grand final, but it's a long season. It's the middle of March. We're hoping to continue sustained form through the season, so we can't get too wound up with how we're going right now. We're obviously really happy with the way we've prepared, but there's going to be some challenges throughout the season, and we need to expose as many young players as we can to AFL form, and we think we've done that through the summer. But they're talking about 20,000, 25,000 tomorrow night. I say why not 30? Why not 35? Why not really re-engage the SA footy public and get a really big crowd here and really support our boys?
You haven't had the marketing and membership department knocking on your door asking for a win?
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. I know. It'd just be good for our players. Like the skipper mentioned before, it's been a couple of tough years that I'm sure the players are looking to make amends for. And there's a really good energy. There's a good vibe around the city and around the football club. So we've got to make sure we hold up our end of the bargain and put on a good performance tomorrow night.
Brenton, being the only coach in the world that hasn't lost a game in AFL, how have you found it so far, and what does tomorrow night mean for you personally?
Oh yeah, I mean, every day I come to the club, I get even more attached to the place and to the players, and I really enjoy working at this place. It's a well-resourced club. It's got great staff, and the players are fantastic to work with. But that doesn't guarantee you success, and I know we've got a lot of hard work to do. Our aim is continual improvement. We just keep knocking over those hurdles as we go. So fingers crossed we get the right result tomorrow night, but we'll do everything we can to put on a really good show.
But has it been a tougher gig for you than you expected, or is it you sort of...
Yeah, it's always tougher than what you expect, yeah, without a doubt. I don't know, I wish you would back me up. There's a lot more. There's days you just want to coach, but there's other things that you have to do. There's a lot of management type roles and obviously media commitments and corporate commitments that you just can't get out of. But some days you just love the passion of coaching, but you can't do that always. But no, I'm really happy. I've got great support, got a really good group of coaches around me, and yeah, so far so good.
Brendan, to go on to that management side of it, how did you feel about the week, starting it out with having to deal with players and events?
It's part of the role. I mean, it was a minor distraction, to be honest. I know it can sometimes grow legs, and there can be a distraction externally, but I have to admit the playing group and the coaching group were focused within the club from Monday through till now. So for us, minor distraction, it's been dealt with, and we can move on and play well tomorrow night.
Did you want that left with you? Did you feel that was a moment that...
No, it's certainly a club decision, yeah. I mean, I can't make decisions on my own. I rely on leadership groups, coaches and management, and we come together and make group decisions on those sort of things. So like I said, minor distraction. Internally, almost no distraction at all.
Were you comfortable with the end result?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah. I'm happy to move on and get on with the start of the season, and I guess more so tomorrow night.
Brendan, are you surprised, or did you expect that things would go what looks to be relatively smoothly with your unbeaten run, and you bedded down what you wanted to do, and it seems to be effective thus far? Are you surprised, or did you always, coming into the job, look at the players that you had and thought, we could do this?
I'm not surprised, because I know we've got an outstanding young group, but at the same time, you never prepare for things to go exactly how you plan, and that's probably what's happened is we haven't had too much deviation from what we've set out to achieve through the summer months, and that goes right back to the end of October, when most clubs were still on their break and we were here training. So, we felt like we had a pathway that we were pretty keen to follow, and thankfully it's been along that pathway so far.
And Brendan, I think on the betting at the moment, which I tend to do a bit of, you guys are favourites. I know you guys can't, but you guys are favourites at the moment. You happy with that tag?
We shouldn't be favourites. I mean, let's be honest, maybe because the game's here, but when you look at the two sides and you marry them up, you know, West Coast have got the experience where both sides are in good form. Probably West Coast are more advanced in their game plan fundamentals than what we are. We've had 3 months to prepare our boys in a style of play. But I think it'll be a great contest. I know we're desperate to play well. I know Eagles will be the same.
You happy to fly under the radar, John?
Yeah, I think
Faith in Adelaide, and then all of a sudden just a pre-season like this has put you up there to high expectations again. And it's just West Coast the real test then if you pre-season.
West Coast is going to be a great test for us. I mean, they're obviously a top 4 side from last year. Played some consistent finals footy over the last 5 to 10 years, and you know, with the experienced group that they've got, I think it's a great test for us leading into round 1 and the season proper coming up. So for us to improve on how we've been performing the last 2 years was you know, imperative that we went about it the right way over the pre-season. And as I said earlier, I think it's been really good the way the boys have been going about their business so far. It's just important that we keep improving from here, not only tomorrow night, but for the weeks ahead for the season coming up.
You don't feel set up like favourites, everyone's talking you up?
Look, to be honest, I think you know, favourites are not favourites. It won't change the way the boys are going to go about their preparation or the way that they're going to play tomorrow night. As you said, we can't bet. We can't bet on the game, so we couldn't care either way whether they're favourites or underdogs.
John, history shows that teams that have a disappointing season, good season, sometimes struggle to keep that on. Obviously, you weren't good in 2010 and terrific last year. The fact that you made this grand final, is that reassuring in your mind that the players have got that right attitude to continue it on? You know, because there must have been some thought of, well, we can't, you know, stop the momentum.
yeah, you don't really think about those things. Every pre-season, you just want to tick boxes. You know, have a process in place, work really hard through it. While that's happening, you're looking at the attitude of the players. Are they really as hungry as they were previously? Are they improving in areas? Are our younger players coming on? So you're just measuring all those things all the way. So we measure that all the way through the NAB Cup. Whether you know, if we had lost one of our round robin games that first week, then maybe you don't make the grand final. But it doesn't change what you're trying to measure through the NAB Cup and what you're looking for from your players. So prior to the pre-season competition starting, we thought the players had had a great pre-season. They looked like they were switched on and desperate to get better again, and certainly not thinking that things are locked away for natural improvement. It had to come through hard work, and I believe they've shown that.